There's something most people completely misread
What's
about the
wrong?
person who goes
You seem
silent
really
when they're in
quiet.
pain. You expect tears, you expect raised voices, you expect some kind of visible reaction that tells you what's happening inside them, but instead, you get nothing. A closed face, a short answer, and those two words that somehow manage to communicate everything and nothing at the same time. I'm fine. And we take that at face value, or we get frustrated by it, or we push harder trying to get a real response. And every single one of those reactions makes things worse, because what's actually happening inside that silent person is the opposite of nothing. It's overwhelming. It's a storm so loud on the inside that the outside has gone completely still. Today, we're going to go inside that silence. What's creating it? What it actually means, and how to reach someone who's shut down without pushing them further away. This isn't a choice, it's biology. The most important thing to understand first is this. Going quiet when hurt is not a strategy. It's not manipulation. It's not the silent treatment designed to punish you. In most cases, it isn't even a conscious decision. Dr. Stephen Porges, a neuroscientist who developed what's called polyvagal theory, mapped out exactly what happens inside the nervous system when emotional pain reaches a certain threshold. And what he found explains everything. When we feel safe, we can talk. We can say, "That hurt me," or "I need to tell you something." Our nervous system is in what's called social engagement mode. Language is accessible. Connection is possible. When stress rises, when voices get louder, when conflict escalates, we move into fight or flight. Some people argue back, some people leave the room. The nervous system is activated and looking for an exit. But when the pain goes beyond a certain point, when the emotional load becomes too heavy and neither fighting nor fleeing feels like it will help, the nervous system does something else entirely. It shuts down. Psychologists call this dorsal vagal shutdown, or the freeze state. Think of it like an electrical circuit that gets hit with too much voltage. The safety mechanism kicks in and cuts the power completely. That's the silence you're seeing, not a wall someone built to keep you out. A system that overloaded and went offline. Physiologically, their heart rate drops, muscle tension rises, and most critically, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles language and logical thinking, essentially disconnects from the emotional centers. Words become genuinely inaccessible. Not because they don't want to speak, because right now they literally cannot organize thought into language. So when you stand in front of someone in that state and demand, "Why won't you talk to me? Say something. This silence is disrespectful," you're asking someone whose leg just broke to stand up and walk it off. The frustration is understandable, but the request is biologically impossible in that moment. Where this pattern usually comes from. Not everyone freezes in conflict. So why do some people go here while others go loud? For some, it started in childhood. Attachment theory, developed by psychologist John Bowlby, shows us that how we learned to handle pain as adults is shaped heavily by how the adults around us responded to our pain as children. If you grew up in an environment where crying was treated as annoying, where anger was punished, where sadness was ignored or minimized, your brain formed a very specific lesson. Showing what you feel leads to rejection, and rejection feels like danger. So you learned early and efficiently to hide it, to swallow the feeling, to appear fine. Years later, in an adult relationship, the moment emotional pain arrives, that same childhood survival response activates automatically. Go quiet. Disappear. It's the only way to stay safe. For some, it came from a toxic relationship. Imagine spending time with someone who used your own vulnerability against you. Every time you said you were hurt, they twisted it. Every time you cried, they called it manipulation. Every time you tried to explain your feelings, they used your words to build a case against you. What does a nervous system learn from that? That speaking is dangerous. That honesty gets weaponized. That silence is the only protection available. Even after leaving that relationship, the nervous system carries the lesson forward into every new one. And for some, it's simply how their brain processes emotion. Some people are what psychologists call internal processors. Before they can communicate anything outward, they need to fully sort through it inside first. Conflict doesn't clarify things for them, it overwhelms them. Their brain gets flooded with too much incoming information at once. Forcing them to respond before that internal processing is complete doesn't speed things up. It crashes the system entirely. The silence isn't stubbornness, it's a loading screen. What's actually happening inside that silence? Their mind is not quiet. While their exterior is still, their default mode network, the brain system responsible for self-reflection and internal processing, is running at maximum capacity. They are replaying every detail of what happened, analyzing every word, asking themselves questions in rapid succession. Was this my fault? What did that mean? What should I say? If I say the wrong thing, will it get worse? The silence you're seeing from the outside is actually the noise on the inside reaching a level that can't be expressed yet. They're protecting you with that silence. Many people who go quiet do it because they can feel what's building inside them, and they know if they speak right now, it won't come out right. It will come out sharp, damaging, the kind of words that can't be taken back, so they choose to hold it, not to hurt you with silence, but to protect you from what the pain might say if it were released before it's ready. Pushing harder makes it worse, every time. The more pressure you put on someone in freeze state, the deeper they go. Every demand to speak right now confirms the belief their nervous system is already running, that their emotional process is a burden, that they don't get to need time, that it's not safe to be vulnerable here. You might eventually get words out of them under enough pressure. But those words will be whatever it takes to end the pressure, not the truth. And real connection gets pushed further away. How to actually reach them. The thing they need most isn't the right question or the perfect thing to say, it's something simpler and harder than that. Presence without pressure. If you love someone who goes quiet when they're hurt, the most powerful thing you can do is step back, not in frustration, but in genuine understanding, and say something like this. I can see you're overwhelmed and I'm not going to push you. I'm here when you're ready. Take whatever time you need. Then actually mean it. Go to another room. Give them real space without hovering or sighing loudly or checking back every 5 minutes. What this does neurologically is significant. The moment the pressure to respond is removed, the nervous system begins to come out of freeze. Blood flow returns to the language centers. The emotional storm starts to organize itself. They will come back, not because they were forced to, but because the environment finally feels safe enough. If you're the one who goes quiet, your way of processing emotion is not a flaw. You are not cold. You are not avoidant. You simply run deeper than the world moves, and that takes time. But silence, held too long without explanation, creates distance even with people who genuinely want to understand you. The wall that protects you can also lock out the people trying to reach you. The most practical thing you can do is build what you might call a bridge sentence. Before you fully shut down, send a small signal. It doesn't have to be much. Something like, I'm not okay right now, but I'm not ready to talk yet. Give me 30 minutes and I'll come back to you. That one sentence does something important. It tells the other person you're not abandoning the conversation. You're just not ready for it yet. It buys you the space you need while keeping the connection alive. The final truth about silence. People who go quiet when they're hurting are often the ones who feel the most. They're not refusing to communicate, they're protecting the integrity of what they eventually will say. When they finally speak, it's not impulsive, it's not reactive. It's been filtered through everything they felt and everything they considered. When they say they're hurt, they genuinely mean it. When they say they care about you, that came from somewhere real. Their silence was never distance, it was always depth. And the people who can sit beside that silence patiently, without demanding it end on their timeline, are the ones who eventually get let all the way in.